Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. The Rupert Neve Designs Portico II Master Bus Processor is incredibly popular for studio recording, mixing, and mastering, and it's also become a mainstay for many live sound rigs. The Portico II Master Bus Processor is a stereo processor that provides everything you need to finish a track or a mix, including a compressor, limiter, stereo field editor, and bandpass EQ. It makes everything you run through it sound wider, deeper, and bigger. Now, Rupert Neve Designs is celebrating their 15th anniversary with a new black color for the Portico II Master Bus Processor. I've got one here today. Let's check it out. The Rupert Neve Designs Portico II Master Bus Processor is based around high voltage, discrete, Class A signal paths. It features custom Rupert Neve Designs transformers on both the inputs and the outputs. We've got mastering-grade stepped controls, incredibly wide dynamic range, high headroom, and incredibly low noise. The front panel features a complete set of controls for each channel. We begin with the compressor limiter. The compressor can operate in either feed-forward mode for more transparent response or feedback mode for smoother response. There's also a choice of RMS or peak operation, which changes how the compressor reacts to transients. For stereo use, you can link the operation of the two channels' compressors. A high-pass filter can be inserted into the sidechain to control how the compressor responds to high-energy, low-frequency signals. An external sidechain insert loop is also available for use with equalizers or other processors. You could also use this insert loop for ducking signals or for de-essing. There are dedicated controls on each channel for attack, release, threshold, makeup gain, and ratio. Plus, we have a blend control for parallel compression where you mix dry signal in with a compressed signal for more natural dynamic response when compressing heavily. Each channel's compressor also has a dedicated limiter control, which features Rupert Neve Design's proprietary adaptive release technology. This allows the limiter to respond transparently to a wide range of signals. Rounding out the compressor limiter section is Rupert Neve Design's Silk feature, which allows you to dial in harmonic content. You can select red for more mid and high harmonics, or blue mode for low-frequency harmonics. The texture knob allows you to dial in exactly how much harmonic content you want in your track or mix. The SFE section of the Portico II Master Bus Processor allows you to process the stereo field. SFE stands for Stereo Field Editor. This section incorporates mid-side processing, which Rupert Neve Designs calls depth and width. The SFE allows you to change the stereo width of the stereo field, but with a twist. You can filter the depth and width separately with bandpass EQ. So you could, for example, boost the low end in the center while widening the stereo width on the mids and the highs on the sides. You can also independently set the level for the depth and width. It's a very powerful tool. Finally, we have gain reduction and output level metering for both channels. The back panel provides XLR inputs and outputs, as well as connections for the external sidechain insert. Now let's pay a visit to my home studio where we'll run some signals through the Portico II Master Bus Processor and hear what it can do. Thanks for joining me here in my studio. I've got the Master Bus Processor set up. It's feeding into a Rupert Neve Designs Master Bus Converter, which is a great sounding analog to digital converter. I've got all the functions in the MBC turned off, so we're just using it as a transparent converter at this point. Let's begin by running a stereo mix through the Master Bus Processor. I'll bypass all the processing, so you'll just hear the dry mix. Now let's engage the Master Bus Processor. I've got it set up with the compressor dialed in for fairly gentle compression. I've got a bit of stereo widening going in. I'm also shaping the frequency of both the width and the depth a little bit in the stereo field editor. Let's engage the Master Bus Processor and start playback. You can hear how much bigger the mix gets. It's wider, it's richer, We brought out more of the presence in the top end, and we smoothed out the dynamics as well. So let's take a look at this setting. What I've got going on here is a feed forward setting for the compressor. I've got the attack set to be fairly fast. We've got a fairly fast release as well. I've got the threshold set so that we're getting just a few dB of compression on our overall mix. We're operating in RMS mode, so we're not quite catching the peaks the way we would if we were, say, in peak mode. I've also got the texture control turned up here and the silk button engaged to the red mode. Red is going to give us more upper mid-range and high harmonics added into the signal. It's going to bring some more of that life into our mix. Our ratio on the compressor is set to 3:1. And then we're feeding into the stereo field editor. And what I've got going on here is I've got a bit of bass enhancement with the depth EQ, and I've got a bit of high frequency enhancement with the width EQ, and then I'm enhancing the width, and I'm also bringing up the bottom end a little bit using the depth control. So let's listen to what that stereo field editor can do for us. I'll engage playback, I'll bypass the width, bypass the depth, and we'll change the EQ settings as well so you can really hear the effect of this processor. The stereo field editor is a very powerful processor for shaping the stereo width of your overall mix. Now let's check out a couple of settings here on the compressor. First of all, I'm going to bypass the sidechain's high-pass filter, which is at 125 Hz. The high-pass filter in the sidechain reduces the impact of the bass frequencies on the compressor's response. So by turning that off, we're letting more bass frequencies get through, and those bass frequencies are going to trigger the compressor more. I'm also going to turn off the silk control. I'll step through the three settings so you can hear the impact of the different harmonic variations. We'll go from off to red, which again is going to add upper mids and highs, and then we'll switch to blue, which is going to add more low harmonics. For this mix, I really like the red silk mode. It's adding nice life and liveliness to the upper mid-range. It's different than engaging an EQ. It really just seems to bring things to life. I also like having the sidechain filter engaged. It opens up the mix a little bit more and again balances things out between the upper mids, and the low frequencies. The last thing I want to show you is the blend control, which allows us to mix some of the dry signal along with the wet compressed signal. This means we can compress things a little bit heavier, bring in some of the dry signal to maintain the life and the dynamics in the signal. Let's listen to that. As you can hear, the master bus processor is a very powerful tool for finishing your mixes. Having a powerful full-featured compressor with multiple modes, the silk function, a high-pass filter in the sidechain allows us to really shape the dynamics, and then we can feed into that stereo field editor and adjust the width and the depth of our mix as well. It really brings things to life and adds a final touch to your mixes. I hope you enjoyed this look at the amazingly powerful Portico II master bus processor from Rupert Neve Designs. It's an ideal finishing processor for both tracking and mixing, and it provides everything you need for great sounding audio productions. And now, for their 15th anniversary, Rupert Neve Designs is offering the Portico II master bus processor in a sleek new black finish. Very cool. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Click here for more videos like this, or start at sweetwater.com for all your music instrument and pro audio needs.